Well, Darby Allin and Tommaso Ciampa blew the roof off the building in Darby's very first title defense. And also, is Will Ospreay a Death Rider? Let's find out. Welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. So, man, what did you think of the show this past week?
That was a awesome Dynamite. Like, everything about it was good. That main event was incredible.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to lead. I have bold prediction.
All right.
And okay. Did you notice during the Shivani interview with Darby? And we're going to go back to that in a second. This is just my bold prediction. Did you notice Darby dropped a little iota of information here? He told MJF directly, I'm only going to give you a title shot when you're willing to give something up.
Right.
Willing to lose something.
Right.
Here's my bold prediction.
All right.
Darby does to him what he did to Hangman. He has to, okay. Now wait, here it comes. So Darby then beats him and he can't come in. Like he can't ever go for the title again. Hangman comes back in and says, hey, you owe me another one. Let's put that stipulation. The winner of this match gets their title shots reinstated.
No, that's a good one. I like that.
It comes full circle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It gives MJF something to actually lose.
Right.
And it brings Hangman back into the picture.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that.
Thank you.
I also like, because right now, the way MJF looks at Darby or you know, with the belt is similar to how Hangman looked at MJF with the belt. Like, you shouldn't have that. I should have that.
Dude, that's very right. True. Think of that. That is awesome. Oh wow. Yeah, that's even cooler.
But AEW doesn't tell stories.
It's true. I also realized something. This is the first time in AEW history, even with names on the show, like Jericho's on the show, Omega's on the show, but they're not the main characters anymore. This is the first time, like Max, Darby, Ciampa, Brody King next week. These, like, I don't want to say the torch has been passed because I don't want to say, what Jericho's doing is cool now, and what Omega, you can't beat Omega, you can't beat the Bucks in the ring, but they also know that they're closer to the end of their careers than the beginning. So why not pass the torch while you're still able to?
And why not, even if you're not passing the torch, like, they're doing something, they're still on TV, right? It's not like
exactly.
But they're like, oh, we don't need the belt right now. Like, it's cool to see Kenny Omega go for the world title.
Right.
And it'd be cool if he won it. Like, I'd like to see him win it, but he doesn't need it. Like, or Jericho, or, even the Bucks don't need the tag belts. Like, they're established as they are. And they realize, oh, we can now have, two storylines. We can have the one where everyone's going after the world title, and then we can have whatever I'm in, because I'm a main event guy who doesn't need the belt. Yeah, it's really cool. I just want to, before we go too far, I want to say, if Darby's gimmick or title reign is going to be just him having a banger wrestling match for the belt every single week, that's awesome. Like, I love it.
That's what was my next point. Him explaining that I'm not going to be champion for a year because I'm going to go 100% every week until my body says no.
Right.
And I was thinking, after he said that also, that's a good way to give someone else a first championship run. Like, say Darby's champion until the beginning of May. Right. And then I don't know, we'll say Brody King, well, he's going to wrestle him this week. Well, just for fun, Brody King beats him, becomes champion, and then is champion until Double or Nothing, then loses the belt. He would still have the champion. He'd still be champion for 3 weeks.
Right. But
he wouldn't have the pressure of he could test the waters. Like, how are the fans going to react?
And it explains why Darby's reign won't be very long. Because if he won the belt and then didn't defend it to Double or Nothing and then lost it, you'd be like, oh, he didn't even get a defense. Like, he had the belt for a month and a half and he lost. Who cared? Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
Whereas, now, oh yeah, he's defended it 5 times. So if he loses, like, not only does he get to show that I've defended the belt a whole bunch of times, but the built-in storyline of like, oh, he worked himself too hard. He took too many championship matches when he didn't need to. And that's why he lost, because he wore himself down. Like, it works really well.
Yeah. And it also introduces you to, again, my rant last week of having to unlearn. Like, for years, we've been told that the babyface champion is, you know, the heel has the championship and doesn't defend it, doesn't do this, says no when the babyface wants to have a match. Then finally the babyface overcomes all the odds and becomes the champion and is like a long reigning champion because the heel just had it. Like, now you unlearn that and like, oh, you know, this person just wants to put their personality into it, and Darby's personality is you put the pedal to the metal until you hit a wall. In everything. I mean, he's a skateboarder. He's like, does extreme everything. So yeah, why would he have a normal baby face? Like, well, okay, what you're going to have to do, you have to go through Tony Khan and ask.
Right.
Like, no, I'll rest.
And he's not just going to sit and wait until someone books a match for him. He's going to go out and like book his own matches, basically. Right? Like,
now going back to the promo, I loved how he just straight up told Max no twice. He's like, you're going to give me my rematch. No.
Yeah.
You're going to fight me tonight. No.
I like that.
It was, I mean, a dose of his own medicine. And like, you know, the typical babyface would like go and kick the ropes and be like, oh, I have to honor his.
Right.
You know, and Darby's like, no, it's not happening. Next. Like,
also, how well does this angle or this feud right now put Kevin Knight over? He's suddenly like a main guy.
Yeah. Now. Yes. Oh, and now I'm thinking MJF puts him over, right?
I think that would make sense that he puts him over and then like gets more desperate to win the title. Like, that would make a lot. Like, now he not only did he lose to Darby, now he lost to Kevin Knight, and now he's like, now I have to win. Like, I can't keep losing.
Yeah.
Like, he's desperate to win. I did think though, if they're doing it at Double or Nothing, which is like, you know, I think they're trying to put up the theme of Double or Nothing with the you know, how Copeland was like, oh, they're going to put on their, you know, if they lose to the FTR, they're going to break up as a team. So they're kind of going Double or Nothing, right? Like, either we win the belts or we break up. Like, that's their only option. Could MJF do that in one of two ways? One, like what you said, put up his title reign, you know, that he could challenge for the title ever again. That's his bet. Like, I could see everyone putting up a bet to get to their matches. Or is it going to be, you know, he does, you know, sneak the title away from Kevin Knight, and now it's two belts. Now it's Double or Nothing. Either you win with two, you leave with two titles, or you leave with nothing.
Well, he did say you have to put something up, Max, or give something up. So if he beats Kevin Knight, he would say, well, then it would be title versus title, even though Max's title's below.
Right.
But you're right. You're right. Like you said, then it would be, you know, you leave as
double champion,
or go home with nothing.
Yeah. Either way, like, I like your idea better. I think that's a better way to do it, but I could see them going either direction with it.
Well, I mean, we know that Tony listens, so hopefully he makes a little turn of course there.
And like we've talked about a million times before, I love how everybody wants the belt.
Yes.
Ciampa wants the belt. Brody King wants the belt. MJF wants the belt. Like, I'm sure Kenny and Ospreay still want the belt. Like, everybody wants the belt, which is how it should be. Like, why wouldn't you want the belt if you're in the company?
Right. And yeah. Question for you. Oh, not well. A statement first, then a question. Darby not getting an entrance to his first title match, I thought was genius. Like,
yeah, that was cool. I didn't even notice that, but yeah,
like his you know, I mean, he had it. We're going to put entrance in quotes. I mean, he came down to talk to Shivani, but like it wasn't like a real entrance. And then Ciampa comes down second, which usually, you know, that's the champ comes out, and he got a full, like, lights go down, like Darby's music just hit, and then he rolled out and then went to the ring. But like, you know, Ciampa got his full entrance. Now, this I've put my tinfoil hat on. Was that Tommaso kind of given his former employer the middle finger to, you know, he never had a Mania type moment, but look what I can do. I'm wrestling for the world title right now.
I mean, they definitely both had something to prove in that match. Just the way they wrestled it, it was clearly something to prove. I don't know if it was a shot at WWE or WrestleMania didn't go over that well. We're gonna be even better, or just Darby's never had a world title before, and Ciampa's never wrestled for a world title before that I know of. Maybe he wrestled in an ROH for one. I'm not sure, but this was kind of both of them being like, okay, we're gonna show what we can do.
And okay, first and foremost, the match was brilliant on so many levels. Like we talked about last week, how AEW gives you variety and variation in the matches. This match, like, yes, it was bloody, but it wasn't like, oh, he pulled out a bed of nails. Like,
right, it was bloody because he like smashed his head on a table.
Like something that would have happened in real life, like. Now that being said, when Ciampa hit the Psycho Driller off the second turnbuckle to the outside to the floor, that was ridiculous. Shouldn't have been done, but I you have my respect.
It was ridiculous, and I liked it. I understand the argument that it shouldn't have been done. Too dangerous. Like that's not worth it. I totally get that.
Yeah, but thank you.
And I liked that it meant something. Like they explained that's why he ended up tapping out, because he landed really hard on his legs there on his hip, and that caused him to tap out. If wrestlers are willing to do high spots that are dangerous high spots, as long as they, not killing themselves, like go ahead. But I want them to mean something. The problem with a lot of high spots in wrestling is like, I forget who it was. Hangman, I think, did a tombstone through a chair, or MJF did a tombstone through a chair. I don't remember who it was. And then the match went on for like another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The problem I have with high spots is not that the danger involved, which is like, because the wrestlers involved are, professionals. They know what they're doing. But if you're going to take that risk, if you're going to do something dangerous like that, it has to mean something in the course of the match. Like remember when Darby, I forget who he was facing, he got dropped like spine first on the stairs.
Yes.
But then like that was just like 2 minutes into the match, and then there was another 15 minutes left in that match, right? And like if that had been the finish, you'd be like, oh wow, that was huge.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas because it happened 2 minutes into a 20-minute match, you didn't even remember it by the time the match ended, right? Whereas this, they made mean something. Like it directly led to the ending of the match.
Yes. Now, I have a follow-up question for you too. You sent me a post that Ciampa made on, I believe it was Instagram, about like how he thanked Darby, and he said that they're like wrestling brothers, not wrestling brothers. I can't think of
wrestling soulmate.
Soulmate, yes. Yeah. Sorry. Like he put over Darby, he put over AEW, and he put himself over. Are we seeing a shift in the social media aspect as like, I mean, it wasn't in character, but it was, it wasn't in character, but it was, are we seeing like, is this going to be the new, like maybe feuds will not necessarily spill over onto social media, but like, we'll say Ciampa used this as in a positive way to put Darby over in the company and everything. Is there going to be a time when I know he just got in trouble for his social media, but Ricochet, like, is there a time Ricochet and wrestler B are in a feud and then he tells them off on social media? I guess that's what I was trying to say. The
smartest way that wrestlers use social media and use, real life situations is if, at least in my opinion, is if it makes sense for the characters and for their personal, like them as people, right? Like Ciampa saying that, this was a tough match and he was his wrestling soulmate, but then he was like, but I'll get you, one day I will be world champion. Like that makes sense on both levels. It makes sense as like Ciampa, the on-screen television character who's like, oh yeah, we are really fierce rivals and we had a really great match and we worked really hard and we pushed each other to the limit and I lost, but one day I'll get the belt. That makes sense from like a character standpoint, but it also makes sense for him as a person, like a guy who's a professional wrestler, like the
right
person behind the character. It makes sense too. Like, oh, I had a really great match. I'm happy I had this really great match. And one day I hope to be world champion. Like that works on both levels. The problem I have with stuff like feuds spilling into social media or wrestlers mentioning their real lives on TV is when it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that's why I had a problem with like what the Bucks were doing a couple years ago when they were like the EVPs, because they were acting like, or Jack Perry acting like they were being held down. They were being, but like in real life, they are EVPs. Like everyone knows that. Right. So like,
that's true.
That made no sense to me. But this does make sense. Like he is both in character and out of character. He is a guy who just pretty recently showed up in AEW. He is a guy who's kind of been overlooked for most of his career. And now this is his opportunity. That works both ways. Just like Darby's thing works both ways.
True.
Right?
Very
like
true.
If they're going to use social media, my roundabout way of saying, if they're going to use social media to build feuds, I am fine with it as long as it makes sense in the scope of the character. And I think it's unrelated, but like when they were talking, Jade in WWE had a feud with Rhea Ripley, and she said something like, "Oh, that's why you're always running to the bookers afterwards on social media." And I'm like, "Don't mention that bookers exist if it's part of a feud, right? Because then it's like, oh, but they're booking this. Why are they booking this? Right? Like then that makes it dumb, right? So you have to make it so it works both ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And this he did a really good job.
Yeah. He did a very good job.
Ciampa, I think, more than maybe Danielson, but more than anyone out of people who've left WWE for AEW fits in the best. Like he's meant for, like he's perfect for AEW. This is where he should be. He fits here perfectly.
Well, going back to his social media post, he said, we're going to be doing this a few more times over the next decade. I think he basically let you know where he was going to retire from.
Yeah, and I think it also next decade. How old is he? Like in his late 30s, right?
Probably, yeah.
So he might have retired if there was no other option, right? Like if whenever his WWE contract ran out, he might have been like, "Well, I'm done." But now because AEW is an option, and he's like, "Oh, there's so many other things I can do that I never thought I could do. I want to keep doing this. I'm going to do another 10 years." Whereas if he left WWE, he's like, "Well, I did all the stuff I could do there. I have nothing else. Well, I'm not going to travel the indies. I'm 40." Right. So, but yeah, this gives him a whole bunch of options for things he could do. And he's been like the perfect AEW signing. I think he's everything that he should be here.
Yeah, I agree. But before we move on, I know he came up through Ring of Honor and everything, but he's also a performance center guy.
Right.
And I don't think an indie wrestler would have done this. The match was over. Darby's music was playing. He went and got the belt, put it on Darby's shoulder, and then rolled out.
Right.
Like it almost like what you said Sting did. Like he said something to like Darby, put the belt on his shoulder, and then stepped out of the frame to like give. It was like, in WWE, like when the belt is the creme de la creme. So guaranteed that they planted that in his head. And then he probably didn't even plan on doing that. It was almost like it was automatic. Oh, I'm going to put the belt on him and then I got to get out of here.
Yeah. We bash WWE a lot for their stuff, but they do teach you how to work on TV. Like,
yes,
they're better at teaching you how to work on TV than probably anyone else.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that, he learned that through just being there for like 10 years.
And that's what, like, if that was Eddie Kingston, I don't know if Eddie would have done that. No shot at Eddie, but Eddie is an indie wrestler. Like, they don't know what belt they're even wrestling for half the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's the Eastern Canada wrestling belt. Okay.
Right. And they don't know how much that title means. Is it the top title in the company? You don't even know. Right.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, they're not they'd be putting over a belt every night, but I just, that was just a small thing. Ciampa, like he could have just rolled away, but no, he went, made a point to get the belt, give him the belt, and then leave. And it was a nice little chef's kiss, I guess.
I do think, not to talk about WWE too much, but I think we're at a very good point. Like, we are being the wrestling industry, not that we're in the wrestling industry, but like the wrestling industry is at a very good point where it seems like AEW and WWE have their identities and what they're good at and what they're not that good at. and what their shows are like and what their shows aren't like. And AEW's been around long enough that wrestlers kind of decide which one is for them, right? I think I'm going to fit in better in this one. I think I'm going to fit in better in this one. And they, over time, will eventually filter into like, okay, if I want to learn TV wrestling, I'll go to WWE. But then if I want to have, 25-minute matches, I'm going to go to AEW. And like, people will plot their careers based on that. Whereas before it was like, I'm going to go to the indies and then WWE. And that's kind of my choice. That's the route you took.
Yeah.
That's the only, or you stayed in the indies. Like that's the only route that you had, really. Like you could go to Japan, but like for North American wrestling, that's kind of the route that you took. Yeah. Whereas now people can go, okay, well, I'm going to learn on the indies and I'm going to practice on the indies and get really good on the indies. Then maybe I will go to WWE if they'll have me, because they'll teach me how to wrestle on television, which I don't know how to do. And then, I've done that already. Okay, now I've really wanted to wrestle in Japan. Like, Mercedes did that. She kind of went that path, right? And it is kind of like you get to pick what you want to develop and then go to the company that's going to help you develop that.
That's a great point. Well, I have a bonus question.
All right.
That I was going to ask you. It was for the end, but this is right on point. So let me get the old notebook back out. Since this past weekend was WrestleMania weekend, do you think it's time for WWE to drop the word wrestling from WWE and make them like, I don't know, worldwide entertainment or something?
Yeah, I think technically WWE doesn't actually stand for anything anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like at some point WWE stands for WWE. Like
it's just WWE. Okay.
Right.
Because you've said it a million times, they're more of an entertainment company just based on everything that they own. Like, yes, they own a wrestling company, but they have television production, like they have everything.
Right.
And, after this past weekend, a lot of wrestling purists saw the show and was like, that really wasn't wrestling. But if you were a WWE fan, WWE fans seem to not mind it that much.
Right.
Some did, but some didn't. So yeah, is it time to drop the term wrestling with them all together and just let them be? It's still athletics, but AEW is now what wrestling is, because it's back to what North American inspired Japanese inspired North American wrestling is. I don't know.
I think what you mentioned before is, if anything, they kind of have to lean more into the entertainment part of it now. Just to differentiate. They didn't have to differentiate themselves before because they were the one, right? They were the only company. So AEW came in, had to differentiate themselves from WWE to be like, well, the problem TNA had years ago is they were just like WWE. So if you wanted to watch that, you already had a show to watch. Like there was no need to watch another show, right? Whereas AEW had to be something else that you couldn't get from watching WWE, and that's why they are the way they are. You're right that I think WWE has to go the other direction. Okay, well, the people who really like long wrestling matches, they're already watching AEW. So that's right. That isn't going to be us. We're going to have to be something different. And the weird thing is, like, at WrestleMania of the two nights, the only match that got really good praise was the main event of night 2, which was Punk and Roman Reigns. Like that got people seem to like that. Like Dave Meltzer gave it a 5-star rating. Like people liked it as a match. And it was also like, 20 something minutes long. Like that's the only match they gave time to. But you're right. Do they even want that? Do they even want that like 30-minute do they want Dave Meltzer to even care what they're doing? Right. Yeah. Like, does that matter to them at all? I don't think it does. And I think they might go further away from that.
And like, does their talent care what Meltzer thinks about them? Right. Like you have yes, they do sign some indie people, and I think they always will, because, well, there's people in their 20s that WWE has been their dream because that was the only place it existed. Right. But yeah, like after you put it in perspective like that, like, yeah, like there's people in their roster like might not even know who Dave Meltzer is because they grew up watching WWE their whole life, and Meltzer's not on
or you didn't grow up watching anything, right? You were like,
you were just an athlete. Yeah.
You've played football, and now the WWE hired you, and now you're like, okay, but you have no idea who like any of these people are, or do you care? Probably not. Right?
Yeah. You're just looking at, okay, I still get to be an athlete and be a professional and make money. Like So yeah,
I think the main event, the way WWE had that main event, was there because that's what CM Punk wanted. I think he cares what.
I think so too.
What wrestling fans think about his matches, and I think he wanted that match. But I think if that was, Roman Reigns versus someone from the Performance Center who was a football player their whole life, I don't think that those people care if they get a 35-minute match. Brock Lesnar's never cared. Brock Lesnar's only been like, do I get paid money for it? Okay.
That's exactly. Yeah, exactly. How much are you paying me, and will the check clear? That's all he cared about.
Right. So yeah, I could definitely see them going that way, being like, oh, we want to be entertaining. I want people to like me. I want people to watch the show. But that doesn't necessarily come through wrestling for them. That comes from, one of 50 other things.
Yeah. And, if they, I was thinking about this earlier, like I'm a big horror movie guy. But not every movie that I watch has to be blood and guts, like I'll watch a documentary on the ocean or something. So like as soon as WWE finds what they are, like they're good at that. If they just bite the bullet and like, oh, okay, we are the sports entertainment company that hires, I don't want to say failed athletes, but collegiate athletes that you might not know have existed because they might be a hockey player or a volleyball player, not necessarily like a football player,
Right.
And we'll teach you how to be a WWE talent. You go through the Performance Center and take that with what you will. And, if you decide to go further, that's on you, but if you just want to be a cut and dry WWE person till the day you're either fired or retire, then fine. Like, and they are good at that.
And that kind of protects them from people leaving for AEW, because if the only thing you've ever done are like 5-minute matches, WWE style, like you're not going to do well in AEW. So that you might not just stay in WWE. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. If you're there and you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. Like, New Japan's even an option now, maybe AEW doesn't sign you, but New Japan does, or even GCW. Like, the options are there, but the options are there. There's more options for the indie wrestler, but if WWE buys into what they have become, more so, and that's where losing the wrestling in their term and in their name, I think that has to be step one.
Yeah, I think that they have to. You're right. They have to go lean. They're kind of at an identity crossroads now, where like they're still kind of a wrestling company, but they're not. Like they kind of have to lean out of that, which actually brings me to my question that I had, and then we'll talk about Will Ospreay, because this also involves Will Ospreay.
Perfect.
Will Ospreay said, which a few other people have said. Simon from What Culture did a video on this week. Next year, WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia, apparently. Okay. Right. Okay. The plans are to have it in Saudi Arabia. So Will Ospreay said this, and he didn't come up with the idea. Other people mentioned it, but I'll just read you his quote. It crossed my mind, especially hearing WrestleMania was going to be in Saudi Arabia. Why not? They're going to be a bunch of wrestling fans that usually flock to whatever city they're in. And something AEW should consider is like having a big show in North America next year around the same time as Mania, like maybe do it in April, like the week or so after WrestleMania, and not just to give the wrestling fans who would go to WrestleMania somewhere to go, but because surrounding WrestleMania, there's always like, a GCW show. There's always a bunch of little indie shows that go to that city, and then wrestling fans go there and they go for like a week and they go to 50 shows. Right. Should AEW do that next year? Because if Mania is not in the US, that will limit the people in the US at least from going to it, because you'd have to now travel to a different country. Whereas if it's in the US, you just have to stay within your country. Should AEW have a big show in some, North American city next year, April, May-ish, and make that, the wrestling event of the year, because people probably won't be traveling to Saudi Arabia?
Yes, but I would do it in Canada or Mexico.
Yeah, I would do that. That makes a lot of sense.
Just because
Mexico would be really cool.
Yeah. Just because, our government's stupid, and if you cross the border, you don't necessarily know if you're getting back. I mean, I don't have anything to worry about.
Not to get into the politics of it, but I feel like that's part of the reason why Mania tickets weren't selling as quickly this year.
I totally agree.
People who would have traveled maybe have second guessed traveling.
I totally agree.
So yeah, that would be awesome if they had it like Mexico or have it in Toronto. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's right down the street from your house.
Yeah, there you go. But I think when people first mentioned it, I thought it wasn't a great idea because I'm like, oh, it just seems like they're having like the bootleg WrestleMania, right? Yeah. Like it's not WrestleMania, but it's the thing you can go to. But now that he mentioned it and other people have mentioned it, it's like it's not just for that show; it's for like a wrestling week, right? Like have it be. And that AEW works with more indies than WWE does. Like
absolutely,
all these indies started having shows around WrestleMania, but WWE doesn't want them to. If they couldn't stop them from having those shows, they probably would. Right? They have no interest in like GCW having a show. They don't want any of those shows around. AEW probably does. Right? They're probably perfectly happy to be like, oh yeah, Tony Khan can call up all his indie contacts, or QT Marshall or whoever can call up all their indie contacts and be like, oh yeah, have your show here. Like maybe there'll be an AEW show and then a New Japan Strong show, right? And CMLL show, and then Ospreay's with Rev Pro, he could do a Rev Pro show and have 10 shows all in one city or one area over the course of a week, and it'll be like have a convention that goes along with it, and it's like the wrestling thing of the year because there won't be one really if it's in Saudi Arabia.
Dude, just even do like it wouldn't even have to be like a special show. Just say, we'll just use Dynasty, same month, just make it a special card, but like do Dynasty, but have like AEW and the Indies and New Japan do a full residency. Say it's in Toronto, but like the shows start the following Saturday. So you have like shows Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then you have Dynamite Wednesday, you have another show Thursday, Friday, you do Saturday Collision, and then Sunday's the pay-per-view. Yeah.
And you maybe let some AEW wrestlers go to those shows, right? Like
absolutely. Yeah.
Have a Ring of Honor show, have a CMLL show. I think now that he positioned it that way, I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would be real, and it would help those smaller companies bank on that revenue.
Right. Right now they probably make a ton of money during WrestleMania week, right? Like your show, it's down the street from WrestleMania, probably sells way more tickets than any of your other shows that year.
Yeah. And like you said too, like people are already in town. Like, oh, we were just at the bar. We found out that there was a Ring of Honor show, and we went. Like, you know what I mean? Right. You didn't necessarily not even have plans to go, but you do. Yeah, that's a great idea. I love it.
And it would really then it wouldn't seem like the second tier of WrestleMania, because it's not just about their show. It's about the whole wrestling community. And it would highlight what makes AEW different is AEW is perfectly happy to work with, 10 other companies, whereas WWE is not.
What do you mean? They just buy everything. El Grande Americano.
And speaking of Will Ospreay, he got kidnapped this week.
Yeah, either that or rescued, depending on
how you look at it. What are the other? Before we talk about that angle, Brian Alvarez, the Wrestling Observer, was really upset about how they're pushing Ospreay as injured, being like, oh, he can't finish matches because he's injured. And
I think it's dumb too.
I don't love it. I think they should either have him cleared or he's not cleared. Like, it's silly to continue bringing this up. Like, it's weird. This week was better because the doctor actually stopped it, being like, okay, you can't have the match. He stopped. I think the week before when he was wrestling Henchicero, and they did the same sort of thing, but then Ospreay just got up and finished the match. I'm like, well, if you're going to say he's hurt, he's hurt. He can't also just wrestle a match, right? Like,
yeah. It's like Kenny and it's not stupid, but Kenny and the diverticulitis.
Right.
That's healed. Yes, he had that, but the surgery was 2 years ago.
Right. That's even dumber because that's not like an injury, right? That's not like his sore neck.
That's something that your body just does to itself.
Right. And then you had surgery and you got better. Right?
So I mean, I get that, even in MMA, if they know someone's coming back from like a shoulder injury, they go to attack that shoulder, of course.
Yeah.
But also the doctor doesn't let you compete unless you're 100% healed.
Right.
Because then you can sue the doctor.
And also the doctor coming out and like the ref backing him off, the doctor coming out and checking on him, like he should have stopped the match. If the doctor has to check on you, the match should just be over. Like that should just be the end of the match. They shouldn't be like another 5 minutes where they're discussing it. And if the doctor hasn't, why was the ref not counting him out? Shouldn't the ref just counted him out if he's down?
Also true. Yes.
I don't love it. I get what they're doing, but I think it should stop. Like I understood his first match back.
Yes.
Being like, oh, it's his first match back. How is his neck going to hold up? Once it did hold up through a match, then it's over. And then you can mention it again later on. Like, oh, he working his neck. He must know he has a neck injury. Sure, that's fine. But I wouldn't make it like the sole focus of the matches like they've been doing.
Yeah. Well, like again, sometimes wrestling has to unlearn from itself. You don't see professional commentators like calling like a hockey game, be like, well, Sidney Crosby broke his wrist when he was 11. That's why that shot didn't have as much pepper on it. Like,
and then they stopped the game.
Yeah,
and the doctor comes and looks at him for 20 minutes. And it's like, actually, he's fine. I'm like, then what was the point of any of this?
Yeah. Yeah. Like sometimes you just got to go, oh yeah, he has a bad neck, and sometimes it bugs him, but he's good.
Right.
It's not just going to be forever. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it, but like you said, if it as long as they're not drawing it out, if we're talking about his neck in July, like,
right. Yeah. Like if they go to All In and that's still a storyline, like that's too much.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
But what did you think of the Death Riders thing?
I instantly thought I didn't go as a kidnapping angle. I thought like they came out to rescue him, and my brain instantly started thinking this is going to be the rift between Claudio and Mox.
Right.
Like Mox is going to say, oh, like, we had to rescue him. He earned my respect. And Claudio is going to be like, that's not what we do.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not the saviors of anybody. Like that's going to be the start of the friction.
I think that makes sense. And I think Mox will spin it his way of like, no, we always said we wanted to save wrestling. And that's what we're doing by saving him. And Claudio being like, well, no, he's not the kind of guy you want to save. Like, I think, I could see that being the thing. I found it a little odd because they hadn't expressed before that Mox respected Ospreay. And then suddenly he's like, helping. Like it's a little odd. I'm willing to see where they go with it though.
Yeah, totally. I absolutely love how every time the Death Riders are involved in something, they always send Marina out first.
Right.
Like when she jumped up, like 9 times out of 10, I think a fan jumped the rail. And I was like, oh, like there's someone on the ring. And like,
because she doesn't always wear the same thing. Like, Yuta's always wearing kind of like, white shirt and black pants, but or Claudia, but Marina's always, just dressed differently. Yeah.
And like, it just works so well. Like she jumps out of the crowd real quick and jumped on, like I just love how they do it. It's so, I don't know, it's done with purpose. Like they were backstage planning, like, okay, Marina, you're going to jump on the TV side and everyone's going to flank from the other side. It seems very planned out. Yeah. And that's what I dig about it. Sorry.
And I do want to see where this goes because it does seem like it's going to be Mox saying he respects him. And I didn't think of the Claudio thing, but that makes a lot of sense. But then how is Ospreay going to respond? Like, does he want their help, or is he going to be like, no, I don't need you to fight my battles for me. I don't need you to help me. I don't need you to save me. I hate you guys. I want to fight you. I don't want you to be on my side. Or is he going to be appreciative that they did help him because like he would have, broken his neck?
Well, that being said, you just sparked an idea in my head. He could take it as they kidnapped him and United Empire, like he gets them, and then we have a United Empire Death Riders,
right?
Anarchy in the Arena or something at Forbidden Door.
That would make sense. Yeah. The only problem I had with it, and I understand what happened, but they should have highlighted it better, is right after he got carried off by the Death Riders, they went backstage to Alex Windsor for an interview, and they've already established on screen that Alex Windsor and Ospreay are together.
Right.
And she didn't mention this at all. Like, she just went into her promo about like the match that she had. And like, they should have made a point to be like, this was recorded earlier, just by put at the bottom that this was pre-recorded earlier.
Absolutely.
Because like, if I'm going to cut a promo and my fiance is just, dragged off by a group of guys, I'd probably want to talk about that. Not like the match I'm having on Collision.
It's a great point.
That jumped out to me because like they immediately cut to her. Like, they should have planned that differently. They should have even had her promo before, or at least after the commercial break or something, to be like
true.
Not immediately. I thought when they immediately cut to her, they would have asked her about this, but especially because she was with Renee, being like, "Oh, by the way, did you know that your husband just kidnapped my husband?" Like, that was weird. Like,
yeah. Wow.
Like, can you ask your husband what he's doing? Because I think he just kidnapped my husband.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, wow. Any final thoughts, sir?
No, I'm excited. Like I said, I love the Darby random challenges. I think he did it with the TNT title. Orange Cassidy did that with the international title, where just like every week he'd have a great match. I want to see. It does you kind of feel like he's not going to lose. Like, he wasn't going to lose to Ciampa. He wasn't going to lose he's probably not going to lose to Brody King, but like the good matches. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I just thought of something while I was talking.
Yeah.
I do have a problem with all wrestling commentators generally, but specifically Tony Schiavone this week, because they had where Ciampa hit Darby with like whatever he calls the running knee. I don't know what he calls it, but he hit him with that knee to the back of his head, and he was like knocked out. And then Ciampa went for the cover, and for a split second, I was like, "Oh wow, are they going to have Ciampa win the title in this match?" Like, it looked like. But then Tony Schiavone goes, "We have a new champion." I'm like, "Oh, now I know you don't." Like, as soon as the announcers go, "That's got to be it," or "That's the end of the match," I definitely know that that's not the end of the match. So stop doing that. Because they never do that when it actually is the end of the match.
Exactly. Now, I will say, Schiavone also had the quote of the week during the MJF Darby promo, whenever Nigel was he was going, "Oh, well, he fought to fight Kenny Omega, and then he had to he didn't know that he was going to fight Darby." And then Tony like Excalibur's explaining that Darby also had other matches, and Tony Schiavone goes, "That doesn't matter, he's an ass."
Right. I like Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
I do think that I don't really love him on commentary all the time, but he's fine.
Yeah. That line though just like cracked me up. It was like Excalibur scrambling to like, "Oh, well, Darby actually had it."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He's just an ass. It was so good.
That's all I have to say.
Same. Everybody, we are at Elite City Pod on all social media. We are on YouTube. Make sure to leave us a thumbs up and a comment too if you want. It helps the algorithm.
And hit the bell.
Oh yeah, hit the bell for notifications. I always forget to say that. Leave us comments on on the videos, on social media. Drop us a message. We'll answer your questions. This Collision's back. It's Friday now. Collision's back to its normal time tomorrow. So I know Rick's not a Collision watcher, so not a Collider.
Yeah, I'll watch like the highlights on YouTube the next day, but I usually don't watch the show. Though
it's really all you have to watch.
I might watch that instead of the Penguins game because they're not going to win. But we'll see.
You think you're going to get swept?
I know.
I don't know. I said they would win at least one. Actually, I said they would win in 5, and then after they played like ass, I was like, well, they'll win at least one. So I'm not going to say, I had faith from the beginning. No, they have not played well yet.
They have not.
But hey, we weren't even supposed to be there, so I don't care.
There you go.
And Gritty's awesome. I will say that. I can admit that.
I do like Gritty.
Yeah. He's so funny. Anyways,
hopefully Gritty listens to the podcast.
Hopefully. And I will say, the people that are bent out of shape for him throwing the penguin off the second balcony, that was incredible.
And it was a stuffed toy. Like,
obviously, yeah. Like,
I know, I'm not going to get into, it's not a sports podcast, but like, if you're harassing a real fan, sure. But if it's a stuffed toy, it's a stuffed toy.
Yeah, you're allowed to do whatever you want to it. I agree. I thought it was hilarious. Anyways, we'll be back next week. So enjoy Collision, and then enjoy Dynamite on Wednesday, and we will see you next week. So until then, later.